Helicopters vibrate a lot, so how do we make HX50 as strong as possible? How do you strengthen a carbon fibre structure? Well, there's three main ways. The first way is you can add more layers of carbon fibre, but that comes with the side effect of adding weight. The other way is by creating it out of one piece, with no bond seams or anything, making it a monocoque structure, just like our airframe. And that's the plan for the tail boom. But there's a third way you can add structure to carbon fibre structures, and that's by giving it a core.
So during the AMA, we showed you a section of the tail boom structure that I was able to stand on that was made of just 2 plies of carbon and some honeycomb material. And the introduction of the honeycomb material made the carbon panel incredibly stiff as well as strong. Now, carbon is very, very strong in tension. This particular fabric is strong in 2 directions, but it's very, very flexible. This is uncured, but even after it's cured, it'll be very, very flexible. Now, the problem with that is if we make a panel out of that, as you will have seen with the earlier monolages, if you bang the panel, the whole thing rattles. Now, that's a problem for us from a noise point of view, because as the rotor excites the fuselage, it'll make all of those panels pant, and that creates a lot of noise that radiates away from the body. So what we do with a lot of the panels is we take the carbon fibre, we lay the first ply down into the mould first, and then we introduce honeycomb material. Now this is resin coated paper. It's incredibly light, it's about 40 grams per metre squared. But what this does is it allows us to space the bottom plies away from the top plies. So this would all be cut to size to fit in the mould. So you can see your bottom ply, you can see the honeycomb, that's all bonded in, and then you can see your top ply as well. And what I've just laid up there, just by introducing that space in between the two, it massively increases the stiffness of the carbon fibre. So that panel there becomes much, much stiffer than it was once it's all cured and bonded together. So that's the basic lamination. This is the basic way that we laminate a lot of the panels in the helicopter, including the tail boom that you saw me standing on in the AMA.
And obviously, the tail boom has to be particularly strong because it's going to be subjected to a lot throughout its life. It's going to be subjected to gusts of wind, sudden changes in direction, potentially misuse as well, but also it's going to be under constant strain from the tail rotor. So Dave and the guys are bringing together all of the techniques into tail boom number 2 to make a structural tail boom, which is easier said than done. The core itself is easy, as you've seen by Jace's demonstration, but when it comes to the bagging strategy, the monolithic structure makes the bagging strategy a nightmare. As you can see, it's particularly complicated because you have to try and get every little detail to be sucked down so you can get an imprint, an exact imprint of the mould.
A lot of people doing this would make it in 2 halves, which is easy, and then they'll bond it together. It's still pretty strong, but if you can do it in one piece like this, it makes it more difficult because having to bag through such a small cigar-like shape, it's not like if it's open you can get in there and check everything's right. With that you've got to work through holes and apertures, which makes the bagging more difficult as well. The 2 guys there, very experienced, and we've had a trial run on it without any materials in it, just to make sure we can make the bag work, we can get to everywhere, make sure the bag's in position, because it's very important that the bag is around all the detail which is inside of there. So from here, like I say, we'll cure this probably Monday now. When that comes out from cure on Monday, be checked to make sure we've got all the detail and everything's correct on it. It will then be trimmed, and after we've trimmed it, it will be weighed, because weight's very important, so we need to make sure that we're at the right level of weight with it. And then we'll be straight on to number 2. So we'll go straight into another one, which will coincide with, at the moment we've got an airframe going through as well. If Joshua just looks round, he can see that there's parts of moulds going on everywhere. This will be the main priority next week, these have got the first 2 plies on. They will have all the reinforcings put on them. And next week we'll put this all together, do all the joining, finish the reinforcings, and then this will be cured hopefully towards the end of next week or Monday the week after. Well, obviously, once we've got a fuselage, the fuselage has got a second step to go, because then it'll have to have its foams fitted, inserts in it and all the inner skins before it's a completed fuselage. But then the tail boom will be fitted to the back of the fuselage, make sure it all fits properly. And this one will be then prepped and painted. So we'll be able to see exactly what she looks like in colour, if you like.
So there we have it, the second HX50 tail boom ready and waiting to be cured and demolded for the future. So if you enjoyed this video and want to see more, be sure to like and subscribe, and until next time, bye bye.